All right, what's up guys? So today we're gonna be talking about some really cool motion control products from a company called edelkrone. Now, full disclaimer, edelkrone did send some of these accessories out and they're also sponsoring today's video. With that in mind though, I've actually bought a ton of edelkrone products in the past. I spent several thousands of dollars. So when they reached out and asked me if I wanted to collaborate with them on this project, I said, heck yeah, because I am a big fan. Now, if you're not familiar with edelkrone products, they are very cool because it's an ecosystem that they all work in conjunction together. And that's really awesome. So for example, I'm using 4 different products together here and they all work in conjunction. So for example, this is the Pan Pro. And consider this like a lazy Susan. So anything that I attach to the top, I'm able to rotate 360 degrees. So for example, I have this jib 1, which is basically a jib that I can control not only by hand, but also motion control. And I can also do this all within the app. So for example, if I want to, pan left and also tilt up, I'm able to do that with the jib with the application, which is awesome. Now, the other product, which is actually one of my favorite, is the Head Plus version 2. Now they also have a Head Plus version 2 Pro, and that one basically allows you to add more payload. So the Pro version gives you 20 pounds of payload capacity. This one here is 10 pounds. So most mirrorless cameras, even like a Red Komodo that's semi-rigged, will work really well. So what the Pan Pro allows me to do is pan and also have tilt action on top of that. And again, I can control it here using my smartphone, and I can work all these together too. So I can tilt up, tilt down, pan left, and also use my jib all together, which is freaking awesome. Now, their latest addition to their lineup, and this is one that I really want to talk about today, is this guy here. This is the Vision module. Now, what the Vision module allows me to do is take the image from the camera from using the HDMI, and now I'm able to get face tracking and also object tracking. But on top of that, because it does take that HDMI feed, I can also use multiple devices. So as you can see here, I'm using an iPad and I'm getting the feed from the camera, and I'm also using my iPhone to be able to control all of these products together. So that's really neat. So the Vision module is kind of like a Teradek wireless transmission unit, but on top of that, it's also giving me all of that cool tech that I can do, and I'll demonstrate that in a second. So let me demonstrate how easy their products are and why I really enjoy using them. So for example, I have here Sonic the Hedgehog, and let's say I want to get this really cool B-roll shot. So what I want to do first is we'll set this position 1, and I'm just manually doing this. So I'm looking at my iPad here. Okay, we'll just roughly do this as position 1. So on their application, I can set up to 6 different positions. So for example, if I hold this down for a second here, that marks it as position 1. And let's say, for example, now I want this to be my position 2. Now, mind you, again, I'm just doing this by hand. I'm not getting fancy here. So I'm gonna let this settle. I think that looks pretty cool. Actually, more like that. There we go. I'll set this as position 2 now. So I'll just hold this down, and then this marks it as position 2. So what I'm gonna do now is just kind of set it back roughly to position 1, and then I'm going to set this, just push position 1, and it'll automatically set my position. So it might take a little bit, like a couple seconds here. So there's my first position, okay? So now, right now I can set the speed. I can also ease in and out. So I have it set to 25% because I think that's pretty good. So all I need to do is press on pose number 2 and then watch this. Automatically, it will go to pose number 2, 25%. Look how cool is that? How easy was that? That's really cool. Now, if I want to speed things up, I can just go here and use the slider, or I can also just tap on that and then maybe set this to 50%, hit done. And now what I'm gonna do is just go, instead we're gonna reverse it here. So now I'm going to position 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit pose 1, and now it's going to ramp up to 50%. So it's a little quicker here. And then check that out. How cool is that? Now remember at the very beginning of the video, I talked about their ecosystem of products, how they all work in conjunction together. This is the Focus Plus Pro. It's a follow focus unit. And what I like about this is that as soon as I turn this on, I can immediately pair this with their application, and now I have another thing that I can do. So it's like a giant Lego system. So you can kind of see it says focus on here, but it's not really visible. So as soon as I power this on, this will be visible and I'll have that control. So when I install a manual focus lens, I'm able to create key points and I'm able to program it similarly to how I did their whole entire setup. What I can do now is have those focus points. So I'm gonna go ahead and install a manual focus lens and demonstrate that for you guys. So I went ahead and installed the Focus Plus Pro, and also I am using one of my favorite vintage lenses, the Contact Zeiss 50mm f1.4. So now I have focus control. As you can see here, I can move the focus using the application. Now what I'm gonna do now is I've already pre-programmed this. I'm gonna go to position 1. So similar to how I did it last time, where I just kind of moved everything by hand and then I manually focused over here, I set my first position to focus on the background. So what I'm gonna do now is from the background, I wanted to then focus on Sonic. So clearly the background's in focus. Like I said, I've already pre-programmed everything, and now I'm gonna go ahead and tap on position 2. I have my speed set to 35, and look at this. Happening all in real time, automatic, don't have to worry about, am I gonna actually get focus right? Because it is tack sharp. Now, a lot of people ask, well, can you loop this? Because for example, let's say I'm doing a talking head using an autofocus lens, of course, and yes, you can actually loop this. All you need to do is tap on both of these at the same time. Now what's gonna happen is it's going to calibrate everything, making sure that everything's good, and it's gonna go from position 1 to position 2 to position 1 and position 2. It'll just keep doing that until you tell it to stop. And then again, you can program up to 6 positions if you like, and it'll cycle through all of that. So right now it's doing Sonic, but let's say I wanted to do the Iron Man mask back there, I can also do that. Now I wanna talk about the Vision module, which is their latest product, and it's really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and install a wider lens, and then I'll show you guys everything that you can do with the Vision module. So now let's go ahead and talk about the Vision module. So you'll notice here down below on the app, there's a thing called Target and Vision. If I set this to Vision, now I am able to see myself. So it's getting a picture right now, and there should be a box around my face because it's recognizing that there is a person here. Now it's really cool because you'll notice that it says instant face tracking. So if I put my hands up here, instant face tracking turns off because it doesn't see a face. But as soon as I put my hands down, instant face tracking becomes an option. Now, if I touch instant face tracking, what will happen now is a red box will go around my face. And now if I start moving from right to left, or really any position, it'll track my face. I can actually stand up and it'll continue to track my face. I can also reposition the angle. So for example, right now I notice there's a lot of headroom. So if I go switch to joystick and then I switch it says switch face, and if I move this down, it'll reposition it. And let's say I want this on a third, I can also do that. So I can just reposition this and then go on a third. So it'll go right there. So now it has me on a third, and then again, it'll keep me, even if I move from left to right, it'll keep me on a third, which is really cool. Now, if I turn off instant face tracking, then it stops tracking me. But something else that you can do, and I'm just gonna reposition this just a little bit over here, is I can actually program my face so that it recognizes my face. So I'm gonna go here where it says face 1, and then I'll hold this down, and it says choose face you want to learn. And then all I need to do is just tap on my face, and just like when you set up an iPhone, where you kind of have to look left and right, and just kind of move your head around for about 10 seconds. Once you do that, it recognizes or it analyzes your face, and then next time it'll see me as face number 1. So the idea behind this is if you're using, or there's multiple people in the frame, you can actually have it cycle. So right now, if I tap on face 1, it'll actually track face 1. But let's say I want to bring somebody else here, like Connor, come on in. So Connor's gonna jump into frame, and then we'll notice that if I track face 1, it'll continue to track me, and it'll ignore Connor completely. But what we're gonna do now is we're actually gonna set up Connor in the system. So now what we're gonna do is it sees another face, and I'm gonna hold this down to face 2, and it says choose what face you wanna track. So I'm just gonna switch the camera here so that it sees Connor in a better position, and I'm gonna go ahead and tap that, choose the face, I'm gonna select Connor. There it goes. Now, same thing with the iPhone, it's just going to analyze for 10 seconds, and then after that, we'll be able to cycle through. Now, the cool thing about this setup is now if let's say, doing an interview setup, and now I wanted to track Connor, all I do is just tap on face 2, now it's gonna lock on him, okay? phase 2. So if Connor goes out over there, see, it's completely ignoring me 100%. Now, if he gets back into frame and let's say Armando's gonna take over, all I do is tap on Armando now and then I'm gonna take the priority here. So now it's got me, Connor's basically, ignoring Connor, and now, he can be out of frame. Now, the cool thing is if he leaves frame and if he leaves the set, it's going to ignore that, he's even here. So he's gone, now it's completely on me. Now, something else that you can also do is object tracking. So let's say I set this up as a secondary cam, and let's say I'm talking about Sonic here. So what I need to do in order to object track is just push this down where it says object tracking. I'm just gonna rotate this because it does go into full screen. And then I'm gonna select Sonic here, and then using my fingers, I'm just gonna create a little box, and it's asking me, are you sure you wanna track this object? I'm gonna go ahead and hit yes, and just rotate this. And now, if I move Sonic this way, oh, there's thunder. Don't mind that. It'll actually track Sonic, which is really cool. Now, if I move quick enough, something that'll happen, and I wanna demonstrate this. So this is great if you're doing product reviews and you wanna make sure that it's almost like you have a second person tracking this object. Now, if I move a little quick, you'll notice, if I lose Sonic, that's it. Like even if I bring it back into frame, it won't pick it up. So unlike face tracking, where it actually follows me, like if I come back into frame, it'll track me, it won't do that with objects, and that's kind of a gripe. I hope that they can fix this with a firmware update. To me, it's like if it loses Sonic, like I wanna be able to come back and then re-engage. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that. So minor complaint, but I think that with a firmware update, they can fix that. But overall, I really feel like this type of motion control can really elevate your production to a whole different level. And what I really like is how they're taking motion control and really simplifying it. For example, there's robots out there that can do really amazing things, but it takes a long time to program this. But with this, it's so easy, as you guys saw, and just the fact that you can really elevate your production is something that I really like. Now, if you guys are interested in learning more about these amazing edelkrone products, I'm gonna leave a link down below in the description. Also, if you guys really enjoyed this video, you're going to love this one. My name is Armando. Thanks again for watching, and you will catch me in the next one. Adios.